Since the dawn of man, there has been one question on everybody's mind. How do you recreate the Fortnite OG HUD, but inside of UEFN? Well, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to make it look as accurate as possible to how it was in Chapter 1 of Fortnite, with animations when you take damage and all of that. One caveat though, is that it's not going to look exactly like it. There's a few limitations like the font of the numbers and little things like that. But without further ado, let's get to it. Firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Content Drawer, and we're going to go to Fortnite, and we're going to grab a HUD controller. Now this is what we're going to use to change the player's HUD to look like a Fortnite OG health bar or whatever. If we scroll down here, if we just look at this down here, the player info widget override, we're going to put a widget inside of there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that widget. So we're going to go back into Content Drawer, we're going to go back into our content, and we're just going to right click, and we're going to go down to user interface, and we're going to make a widget blueprint. Inside of here, we're going to then make a user widget, and we're going to call this our OG HUD. We'll go inside of it. Once we're inside, first things first, we want to place a canvas panel. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in an overlay inside of here, and this is going to be where our health bar would be. So we're just going to drag it down here, and we'll just put it here, and whatever we put inside of here will become the health bar. So for example, if I put an image inside of here, it's going to display the image inside of here, and if we make it bigger, it'll fit inside of there. So we're going to make a material instead of an image, and we're going to put that material inside of there. But first, we actually have to make the material. So we're going to go back in the Content Drawer. So we're going to right click, we're going to go into material, we're going to make a material. This is going to be our health bar, and we'll go inside of it. Now in here, it's not hard, don't worry about it. All we're going to do is we need to click on here, we're going to go down to here into material domain, and we're going to make it a user interface. Then we're going to make it translucent. Then once we have this, next step is what we're going to grab is a texture coordinate node. Then next we're going to need a mask, and then we're going to set that to only R, so we're going to get rid of G. I believe that gives us the X in the UV, so we can control the health bar like that. Okay, once we have this, we're just going to set that right here, and we're going to make a few parameters. So to make a parameter, you want to hold 1 on your keyboard and left click, and then you can do this, and you can right click it, and then convert parameter, and now is a parameter. And we're going to call this progress. Now you can also find a parameter. You can right click and search up scalar parameter, and you can get it right here. It's literally the same thing we just did, but it's just quicker to just hold 1 and right click it like that. But anyways, if you've seen my other videos, I did this slightly differently. So this is a slightly different way of doing it, making a progress bar. It's probably more reliable, to be honest, and it's a lot more simpler too. So all we need to do next is we're going to grab a saturate, and we're just going to put that into there. So our progress goes into there. Then next step, what we're going to do is we're going to need to we're going to get something called a step, and this is going to be our step node. Then very simply, we put our mask into Y, and we put our saturate into X. Then after that, we're going to get our color for what we want our progress bar to be. So in this case, it's going to be the color green because it's our health bar. So we're going to hold 3 on our keyboard and left click. And with this, we're just going to set that to green. Oh wow, who'd have guessed? Next step then is pretty simple. All we have to do is hold M on our keyboard and left click, and it'll give us a multiply node. We just hook that into there, and we hook that into there, and then we just put that into final color. And now, as you can see, nothing is displaying because progress is currently 0. If I change progress to 1, as you can see, it's going to be full. And if I change that to 0.5, it's going to be halfway. Then it's going to be the percentage of the distance, I guess. So this is basically how you make a health bar. Now, if I were to apply this and just add this inside of here, this is not done at all, by the way. But if I just put it into here, as you can see, if I stretch it out inside this overlay, as you can see, I can make it the distance of it. And if I change it in here, like making it 0.5, as you can see, it's going to go, halfway. Now, I know the background is black. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that in a minute. The thing is now, okay, in OG Fortnite, if you take damage on your health bar does this cool little animation where how much damage you take turns red, and like it animates down to where it should be. Now you're probably wondering, how do you actually make that in UEFN? Now, not until recently, they have actually added a new feature inside of the HUD controller, which allows us to control the health delta. I'll explain it in a minute. So anyways, we'll just add in the next part, which is going to be, we're going to have to make another bar that's going to be red. And to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to copy progress. I'll just control C, control V there, and I'm going to rename this to progress delta, like that, or delta progress, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. We're going to get the delta progress, but we're also going to get another thing, and it's called the delta factor. And this is what we're going to use when we're going to animate this inside of the thing. It's a number between 1 and 0, so we're going to make the slider max 1. So it's going to be depending on what number this number is, we can animate the red part of the bar that appears over time. Now, think about the delta progress. This is how much damage you take. So for example, if I'm at half HP, if I take let's say 20 damage. That's gonna bring my progress down to 3, if that makes sense. And it's gonna change my delta progress to that. It's gonna change that like that because I took 20 damage. 0.2 is 20 HP if you have 100 HP. Now there's a slight problem here because this is a minus. So what we want to do, instead of this putting this straight into an add node or something like that, what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to search up ABS, and just going to give it an absolute node. And basically what an absolute node basically does is it gives rid of the minus and it gives us the absolute of the number. So in this case it'll be 0.2 and not minus 0.2. We're going to add this and our progress up here together, and then with our delta factor we're going to copy and paste another saturate node, and we're just going to put that into there. And then with our add and with our saturate, we're going to add in a third one called lerp, which is linear interpolate. And inside this lerp, or the linear interpolate node, we're just going to put progress into A, we're going to put this one into B, and we're going to put saturate into alpha. Now it's hard to know what any of this does just yet. Once I finish it, you'll understand it, but I'll explain it also. But anyways, next step, we're just going to copy all of this and we're just going to paste it down here, and then we're going to change this color to red because this is going to be the red part of the bar, if that makes sense. Now once we have this, what we're going to do next is in our step node down here, we're going to put lerp inside of it. So I'm gonna reorganize this a little bit so it looks better, kind of like that. And then we're gonna put lerp inside of the step with our mask, and now we have this new multiply node up here. Now with these two multiply nodes, if I just break this, if I right click on it, I can break it. Now if you see this, if I put this multiply here, obviously I have this bar, but if I put this multiply into final color, as you can see, I have the other bar now. Now there's one problem. If I want to have both of them, I can't, because I can only have one. If I do something like add together and I put them together like this, it doesn't work. Look at that, it looks stupid. And stuff like that. So how do we add them together? It's pretty simple. We need to use a lerp node again. So we're just going to put this into here, we're going to put this into here, and then we're going to then grab our step of our green, and we're going to put that in alpha, and I'll put that in the final color. Oh, sorry, I did it the wrong way. I did it the wrong way. This top one should be in B, and then this bottom one should be in A. There we go. That's how it works. And now, this is the material basically done for our health bar. And as you can see, we have progress, delta, and there. Okay, now to explain this, all right. If I have my health at 0.5, our current progress, if I'm taking no damage, our delta progress is going to be how much damage I took recently. So for example, if I was at 100 HP, which is going to be 1, and I took 30 damage, so I went down to 70, our delta progress will change to or minus 0.3 like that. So it's going to show how much damage we have taken, which is 30 damage. Now our delta factor now will control how much of this displays. So right now it's 1, so it's showing it all. If I change it to 75, it's going to show 75% of that. If I change it to 0.5, it's going to show half of it. If I do 0.25, it's going to go there. If I do 0, it's going to be all the way down. So we're going to use this to control how much of the red we can show, which is our delta progress, which is basically how much damage we recently took. Now progress and delta progress does not change over time. It always will just change immediately. Delta factor is the only one we're going to be animating inside the UMG. So anyways, I recommend making this 0 always, and then our delta progress will always be 0, and then our progress, I'll just get that on 1, and that will do. Now next step is that we have this bar done, so we're just going to go inside of our OG Hud thing inside of here, and as you can see, our health bar is here. Yeah, and you'll probably notice that there's a black background here. If you want to get rid of it, it's pretty simple. All we're just going to do is we're going to grab the step here, and we're just going to drag that into there. And now the step is going to update to where the red bar is, so it's gonna get rid of it. For example, if it's at 0.5 and now it's 0.2 and it's 0.1, as you can see now, it's going to cut off when the red ends. Now, if I did this opposite, like if I use the step up here for the green bar in opacity, it's going to cut where the green ends, and that's going to actually get rid of the red. So you don't want to actually do that. You want to put the step from the red inside instead, or whatever thing is below it. So that's how it works. All right, so and we're just going to actually set this up so it looks kind of like the OG HUD. Now the first things first, the easiest way to actually make it kind of look like it is, I'm just gonna do something very quickly. I've literally just went online and I grabbed this texture or this image. It's basically just an image of OG Fortnite gameplay, and if I change the opacity on this over here, we can use it as a little template to accurately put in where our HUD should be. To make sure it doesn't fade over, you just want to put it like before everything, like up here, so you can actually like drag stuff on top of it. Now if I want to place this correctly, I can put my overlay here, I move it out like this, And I can put the other side here, squish it down a little bit so it's more accurate. Now when you look at that, the bar is pretty much in the right position. Actually, I need to stretch it out more. Like that. There we go. Now it's in the right position. We're going to copy this overlay, and we're just going to paste it into the canvas panel again. This time, it's going to be for the shield bar. Now, if you haven't noticed, it's the wrong color, and it doesn't look exactly like the shield bar. What we can do is we'll go into our contour, and we're just going to copy this or duplicate it, and we're going to make something called the shield bar then. So we have a health and a shield bar. Now, if I go into our shield bar, we're just going to update a few things. Our progress and everything, we need to rename that to shield progress, and then shield delta progress, because we need a separate name and parameters for everything to do with the shields. So our delta factor will then be a shield delta factor, and apply that. Perfect. Now with the color of the shield, I'm gonna set the blue to actually get the accurate colors from Fortnite OG or whatever. If you look at this image, this shield bar kind of has a little gradients. I don't think the health bar does. Oh no, no, the health bar does have a slight gradient. The easiest way to do this is if we want to make a gradient, we want to use a lerp node. We're going to use this to make our gradient, and we're going to have two colors, which is going to be our, I think in this case, it's going to be the top of the dark one, and then this is going to be a light one. I'll see what it looks like in a second, but anyways. Then we're going to put the top one into A, the next one into B, and then in alpha, we need a certain node called a linear gradient. We're going to grab this, and I think we're going to use I think it's the V gradient. If I change this to like a different color, like this color, it should update. Oh no, I have to put the lerp. Let's put the lerp into the multiply, and now we gotta use the hue gradient. Now it's the opposite, so you can see if I make it out red, it's gonna look like that. So we're just going to make this top one is going to be the darker one, and then this one is going to be the lighter one. So it's gonna kind of look like this. That makes sense. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to grab the image. We're just going to pop it out of the window, and what we can literally just do is you can just grab the colors. So we're going to go into here, we're going to click on this, and we're going to click the little picker, and we're just going to pick, this is the darker side, so we're going to go on the very end, and we're going to grab that color. And then on this side, we're going to then grab this color over here, which is going to be the lighter side. Okay, I'm going to reduct this, and then I'm just going to copy all of this. I'm going to paste it into here. Let's see, I'm just going to replace it with that. It's going to look a bit weird for a second, don't worry. And then in here, we're just going to do our other colors for a health bar now. So I'm going to grab the dark side of the green, grab the light side of the green. I think I can go a little bit further if I got a better image, but I'm just going to go right there. It should be fine. We'll just apply that. Now we have a gradient for that too, which should work pretty good. So if we apply that and save it, and then apply that and save it, if we go back into here now, our bars should look pretty accurate to what they should look like. So there we go. And then what we want to do is inside of the top bar, this is our shield bar. Instead of having the health bar in the image, we're going to replace that with the shield bar, you remember. So we're going to put the shield bar in there instead. Now, these don't look perfect because the colors are also a bit off when you take damage. The take damage colors are not right. So next step is we're going to try and make the colors when you take damage better. So I went online and got a video of someone taking damage, and those are the two colors we need. I think that might be a little bit too dark, so I'll lighten them up a little bit. But we'll just go back into our health bar, and then we're just going to again do the exact same thing, and we're just going to grab that color right there that you see right there. We're going to grab that color, and we'll lighten it up a little bit, and then that should be good. So do you think that looks pretty accurate? So we'll save that. And then we'll do the exact same thing, but for the shield bar. So we'll do shield bar, and then the blue part of it, which is here. I find it right there, and I grab this color. And I grab that blue that's right there. I'll line it up a little bit. So next thing we're going to do is we'll just remove this, and we're going to make the text that's inside of the bars that actually we're going to move them slightly because it's not actually perfect. Place that there, and we'll place that there. That works. Next step is we'll have to make this a little bit shorter, about the same length as the one at the top, and bada bing, bada boom, there we go. Our image actually for our shield bar should be in this one. Now we have two bars like that. That should do. And our next step is that we're going to put the text that's going to show how much health and shields we have inside of each bar. So what we're going to do next is we're going to then grab a grid panel right here, a grid panel, and we're just going to put that into one of the overlays. So we're going to do this one first. Then inside of here, we're going to position this so it's on the side and it's going to be in the middle. And then we're going to grab a text block and we're going to put it inside the grid panel. Now this is our text block. Now this is going to show how much shield we have. So I'm going to make it so as the default is going to be 100. What we're trying to make it is kind of like this, where as you can see, it looks like that. There's like the text, there's a little line, and then there's another, it shows the max health. That's faded away slightly. So the easy way to do this is we're just going to make it so the text size is at, I think 20 or 20, maybe 21. That would be good. And then the problem here with the text is that the fonts in here are pretty limited. There's only about 3 fonts. That's Burbank, and then we have Burbank Small, and then we also have Burbank, or sorry, Heading Now. Those are the only 3 ones we have. So what I found is the best one to use is you click on Burbank here, and then you do Burbank, I think Player Power. I think that's the one that's probably best to make it look kind of like it. Again, it's not perfect, as I don't think you can even get this font unless if anybody knows. So it's not perfect, but it should work. Then once we have this font, what we want to do is we want to make it so we'll add a little nudge to the X. I think if we do that, we can make it centered a little bit. And then in the grid panel over here, we'll add padding. Oh, I have to do it in the text block itself. Silly me. Okay, we'll do left 20. And now bring a bit more closer in. Depends on what I think it looks the best. I'm trying to make it so it looks kind of like that. I think I might make the text a bit smaller, this much. And then we'll go back into here and we gotta bring it down a little bit. So we'll do no more lunch. That should look pretty good. Next step is we're gonna add another text block. And this text block, we're gonna make it so it's an eye. Just an eye, really. So we have a little line. And then we're going to place this one of the little arrows. I'm going to move it to the next column over here. As you can see, it's a bit far away from where it should be. Now, the easiest way to do that is just get rid of the left thing down there. And now it's going to be slightly over. You can add a little bit more left if you want it to be slightly separated like that. And then we'll just copy this one and we'll paste it again inside of here. And we'll just press it twice. So now it's over there and we'll do left 0, or maybe like... I don't want it to be too far. Like that. Now we have the numbers inside of there. I believe this one actually is slightly tinted to green. So if we change that to green like that, it should look a bit more greeny. So we're just going to copy that and I'm going to paste that. So now it looks a bit more green and so it looks a bit more faded like that. That should look more accurate to how it looks in here. As you can see, like right there. Next thing, we have to do the numbers for the shields. We're going to copy the grid panel and we're just going to paste it into the other overlay. And it should automatically do that. And then these 2 numbers here, we're just going to change it to a blue instead. So it looks more like... Now the reason why we did this in a grid panel is because if these numbers change, like if I lose 75, if I go down to 75 HP, the position of the numbers will automatically change to where they need to be, if that makes sense. So it's going to change to have it to where it should be. Now, final thing to make it look like what it should look like, there's a little icons of a shield and a little plus sign. If you can see her boot's white, so it's kind of hard to see, but there's a plus sign there and there's a shield. And the easiest way to do this is just go online and find the icons. As you can see here, I went online, I found a plus icon and a shield icon. So now if I just drag these into here, we should now have a shield now, and we also have a plus icon right here. This should work perfectly to what we want to do. So we're just going to, I'm gonna try and get the perfect size. They're a bit wonky. Now we have an icon for our shield and an icon for our HP. They're not perfect. They're a bit goofy looking, but from really far away, they should look pretty good. So yeah, that should work. Next thing we want to do is we want to then do our anchors, and our anchors are important because if we change the HUD scaling, it's not going to get messed up or anything. So we're going to go into, we're going to need one for our overlay, our image, and that. So what we're just going to do is we're going to do our first overlay. We're just going to drag the anchor, which is this flower thing at the top right, and we're going to place that kind of right in the middle, accurately on the screen like that. That makes sense. Perfect. And then this anchor, I think I might put it like in the middle somewhere, like there or there, doesn't really matter. And to add it to everything else, we're just going to go up into your anchors and we're going to right click and we're going to copy, and then in our other overlay we're going to paste in our images. Now we're also just going to go to paste, and they're all going to be anchored to the same spot, which will let them scale dynamically together, which should look pretty decent. The last thing we need is a background. Okay, if you look at this, the parts of the health that are missing, they have like a black background on the thing, like right there. So to add that, it's pretty simple. I think we just want to right click, we just want to make a new material, and this is going to be our background. And you could put this into the health bar materials, but to make it easy, I'm just going to do all the UMG. So we're going to hold 3 and click, and we're going to make a constant 3. This is going to be black, and then inside of here, we're just going to make it so it's user interface, translucence. I'll do that again actually. And then we're just going to kind of tint it towards the blue side of things. So kind of like this color. So it looks kind of purpley, if that makes sense. Just to make it look as accurate as possible. Kind of like that. And then the opacity, we can just change it here. So I'll just change it to 0.5 or something. I'll apply that. And then back into here, all we have to do is we have to grab our background material, which is this right here, this image. And we're gonna pop it inside of both of our overlays. So we'll do that. So this image here, so we're just gonna put it all the way at the top. So it's image 70. And then we're gonna make the size of it and the X and the Y just bigger, so it fills the back. Now we have a bit of a background to our thing. Then we copy and paste that into our other overlay, and we'll just put that at the top. And now we have a cool little background for our thing. So for example, if there's like a background to it, as you can see now, there is a background. And if you look at that, it's slightly darker on this side, So what we can do is we'll just pop the opacity a little bit. So it looks sort of like what it should. Maybe even darken it. I want to make it look as accurate as possible. Put it down in opacity. Yeah, that looks good. So now we have this OG HUD. I know there's some things are not perfect, like the fonts and stuff like that, but it should look pretty good and pretty accurate. Now, last thing we need to do are just the widget bindings and making the animation of the delta factors. So do that. Let's get started. In view bindings, what we're just going to do is we're going to add a view model. And we're going to add in the Hud Controller team and squad player info list view model. And there we go. We'll just exit up here. Now, inside of here, to actually connect everything to everything, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our image, which is our image for health bar. So this is going to be, this is actually going to be your shield bar image. And then we're going to need our other one, which is this one, which is going to be our health bar image. And it helps to name stuff up here, so you know what you're working with. Anyways, next on the list is we'll just add the widget health bar image. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the brush of it, and then in here we're going to go into conversion functions, and we're going to set scalar parameter. Then our parameter name that we're going to change is going to be progress. If you remember, we got to do a progress thing in there. And then our value of progress is going to be linked to our current health. So our health, we want to use health normalized. The difference between health and health normalized is that health is health, what your health is. So if I have 50 HP, it's going to be just be 50. But our health normalized is that in between 0 and 1. So for example, it's going to be like the percentage of our health. So 50 HP is about half HP. And we're going to want to use health normalized for here. Next thing, we're just going to then do the exact same thing. We're going to place a plus sign because we're going to use the exact same thing. And we're going to grab brush. And then inside of here, we're also then going to set our scalar parameter. We're going to grab our delta progress, if you remember. And this delta progress is now going to be hooked up into our health delta normalized right over here. I'm hooked into there. Now, next thing we do is we're going to grab our other image, which is for our shield bar image. And we're going to go into view bindings and we're going to add that into there. And we're going to grab the brush again. We're going to grab set scalar parameter. We're going to grab set scalar parameter again. And then inside of here, we're going to get our shield progress. Remember, this name I'm typing in right here is the name inside of our materials. So for example, if I go into shield bar, what we're trying to find is this is the thing we're copying. So we're just copying that straight into the other thing here. So we're literally just copying that right into there. I'm going to set the value again to our delta, sorry, not our delta, but our shield normalized. Where is that? Where is that? There it is, shield normalized. Then after that, next step is we'll add a plus sign again. We'll do brush. We're gonna do the exact same thing, but for the delta. So we're gonna grab our shield delta progress, like so. And we're gonna hook that up to the value, which is our shield delta normalized. So it's going to be this one, shield delta progress. I'm just gonna check if I typed it right. That should work. Then once we have these, next step is we want to set up our animations for our delta factors. So we're going to need two of them. If we click into animations, we're going to add an animation right here, and it's very easy to do this. So we're gonna have one called take health damage, and we're gonna go to here, and we're gonna add a we're gonna click on our shield health bar, or our health bar image, and we're gonna add that into here. Then we're gonna plus sign. We're gonna go up to brush material. Then in here, we'll then go into here, and we can now control all the different parameters inside of there. So we're gonna grab delta factor. Click this little arrow down. We can open up delta factor. And now we want to make it start at 1, and then we want to make it end at 0. So we'll just move this. We want to make it so it's about 90. I'm gonna make it up to 90, and then we'll just pick another key by pressing this little thing right here, and then we're gonna click onto it, and then we're gonna change the value of it to 0. So now as you can see, it's going to change like that. So when the animation plays, it's going to reduce the thing down. if that makes sense, like that. Now, once we've made this animation, it's very simple. We're just going to duplicate it, and we're gonna make one for our shield damage. Literally, this is the exact same thing, but instead of this, we're going to then grab our shield bar image, and inside of our shield bar image, we're then going to get the brush. We're then going to get the shield delta factor, and then we're going to do the exact same thing we just did, which is get the 9. I'm going to put down 0. So now we have an animation for our shield one as well, which is pretty cool. Now finally, we need to trigger our animations. And to actually trigger them, we want to make it so it plays when the health bar is damaged, or when the player is damaged. And when that happens, usually delta progress is usually below 0, because again, it goes to minus whatever our damage was taken. So to do this, we're just going to view bindings, and we're going to add something called a condition up here, and we're just going to add in a condition for our health delta normalized. When our health delta normalized is less than 0, so whenever you get damaged, we're going to go into here. We're then going to queue play animation, and the animation we're going to queue play. We want to compile it first so we can actually see the animations. We want to do our in animation as it's going to be take health damage. That's the animation we're going to be playing. They'll work like that. Then next thing we're going to do is literally just the same thing. Add a condition for instead of we want our shield delta normalized. When that is less than 0, we want to trigger the animation queue play animation, and we want to queue play the animation of shield damage, and there we go, and that should work like that. Perfect. Health bars are now hooked up and working. They should be anyways. The next step now is to get our numbers working. So each number, we're just going to rename this. This is going to be our shield number. I'm going to call this our current shield. It's helpful to rename these. This is going to be our max shield. This is going to be our current health, and this is going to be our max health. And then to make these work, we're just going to add a widget current shield. This is our current shield right here. We're going to grab the text of it, and we're going to then go to conversions function. We're going to do toText integer, and we're going to get the value of it, and the value we're grabbing is going to be our current shield, so it's going to be our shield. Then in our max shield, we're then going to grab the text. We're going to get toText integer, and then this is now going to be our max shield. So right here, max shield. There we go, perfect. Then in our health, literally the same thing. We're going to get the text. We're going to get toText integer, and this value is going to be our current HP right here. Health. Then we'll do it now finally for max health. Add that text to text integer. And our value for our max health is going to be max health right here. Perfect. So now we have all of our text set up. So if this changes to, like, say 50, our health changes to 50, it's going to update to what our current thing is. So that should work pretty well like that. And then inside of our HUD controller, we're just going to add in our player info widget override. We're just going to add in the thing we just made, which is our OG HUD. There we go. And now all we have to do next is I just want to test stuff. So I'm going to grab a... But yeah, one final thing, I do recommend just setting this to 0, setting our delta progress to 0, and our main thing is the 1 as defaults, just so it looks nicest. Same thing with our health bar. And now in game, as you can see now, we now have the OG Fortnite HUD. I don't believe it. And if I grab some of these, and if I were to, like, I don't know, drain some shields, as you can see now, I gain 25. And I can keep gaining it, because, you know, it works. Now, what I can also do is take damage. So if I take damage, as you can see now, I have the animation of taking shield damage, which is pretty cool. I also now have the animation taking health damage as well. And again, if I were to heal with HP, it also works, which is pretty cool. So now you have your very own OG Fortnite HUD that you can use in whatever you want. Now, of course, you don't need to make the Fortnite OG HUD with this, like, you know, code. You can also make, like, other HUDs, you know, so you can have the health animation go up and everything like that. Okay, so now this is done, but there is one more thing we can do in this video. There's one more thing we can do, which is this in this little image. It's adding that little, the little equipped item info on top of the health bar. That's like this styling or whatever. And we can actually add that, but not inside of this widget. We're gonna have to make a new widget for our equipped item HUD, and that's gonna go into the other slot here. If you saw it earlier, the equipped item info widget override down here. We're gonna actually make a new one. So we're going back to the user interface, and we're gonna make a widget blueprint. We're gonna make it a user widget. and that's going to be our equipped item, and we're just going to go inside of it. Then we're going to set this up exactly like the other ones. So we're going to do view bindings, add a view model. I know I said exactly a second ago, but it's not exactly. We have to go into equipped item view model, not this team and squad. So now we can actually like get the ammo account, the ammo surplus, infinite ammo, stuff like that, and we can now see it in the HUD. Now I made a video going over the equipped item HUD thing already, so I'm not going to go in depth. It's nothing crazy, and I don't really want to bloat this video out with stuff that I've already explained before, so you can just go watch that if you want to know more stuff about the equipped item HUD. I'm just going to do something really simple where I'm going to grab this this panel, and I'm just going to grab the same template I got earlier, this one, and I'm just going to, since we can't use the other HUD, because I've already made it, I'm just going to use this as a little template, so just so we can see where on the screen this is. So I'm just going to do that, and then basically just above the thing we're going to add in what we need. So we're going to grab a grid panel. I'll put that into there, or actually instead of a grid panel I might get an overlay first. So I'll put a grid panel inside that overlay, and we'll move the overlay down this way like that, a bit smaller. And we're going to need a few things inside this overlay. We're going to need the ammo count, the little line in the middle, the ammo surplus, and the ammo icon, which is like the symbol. So using this up here as a reference, we're just going to remake it basically. So what we can do is this, I'll center it first. I think the anchors, I'm going to go into here. I'm going to copy the anchors of the overlays in here, copy, and go back into the other one. Then I'm just going to, on this overlay, I'm just going to paste. So it's the same exact anchors as before. So it should be placed in the same spot. We'll put it there. I think I can probably make it smaller than this. And we'll throw in a text block. We have first number. This is going to be our ammo count. So I'll rename this to ammo counts. For example, I'm going to use this as an example. So I'll do 1. Now the actual fonts, I think that should be good. As you can see, it has a little bit of an outline. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little outline. We're going to here outline size, and we'll just add a little outline like that. Oh wait, no. I'm stupid. We don't use outline. We use shadow down here, shadow color. So down in shadow color, you just want to go into here and you want to make it so A is 1. And it's going to add a shadow for you. And the shadow offset is going to control where the shadow is. So we can put the shadow like that to make it look kind of like that. It's kind of blurry, I know, but it should look pretty accurate. So yeah, there we go. And then like before, we're going to add in another text block. This is just going to be the thing in the middle. Oh yeah, no, actually, we gotta put these in the grid panel. This is going to be the eye. Goes in the middle. Let me make it a little bit smaller, like so. Like that. Maybe like 20, or something like that. Nah, it works. And then we can add in a padding of left, so we can move to the side. So now there's this and this. And then we can add in another number, which is going to be, we'll move it over twice. There we go, using the arrows. And then this is going to be our ammo surplus, and then this could be whatever. I'll do 6 because that's what it looks like in the image. Last but not least, we just need an image. We'll put that image into the overlay like this, grid panel image. The size of the image determines the size of the icon right here. As you see, it's kind of like slightly bigger than the thing. I think those icons are about 32 by 32. So yeah, it's already automatically 32 by 32. So we'll just leave that like that. And it should look pretty close to the actual HUD. Some parts about it, like how thin the things are, it's just a font issue, I think. I don't think you can make it as close. This is probably as close as you're gonna get it. This is a better font using Burbank. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so this is probably as close as you're going to get it. You know, we only have 3 fonts in UEFN, so we can't really do much about it. And we can't import anything. I hope they add that the option to import fonts, because it's literally already, it's already built in, basically. There's literally already, you can already get fonts, and you can import fonts into this, but it just gives you a validation error. And I don't know why they haven't enabled it yet. I'm going to add padding to this as well, so it doesn't look as close. Like 5 there. There you go. That works. And now, last but not least, we do need to hook up our bindings so it works. So we're going to remove bindings. And since I named all these, it should be pretty easy to know which one is this. This is ammo count. So we're going to get the text of ammo count. What we're just going to do, we don't have to convert it to anything. We're not going to get this or this for anything. What we're going to do is we're going to get the ammo count text instead. And that's going to let us use the text of the ammo. And using the ammo count text allows us to put infinite ammo into it. So we'll grab this, and then we'll do ammo count text. Oh, sorry, this is a surplus, so we need surplus text. There we go. So we got the surplus text for the surplus, and then last but not least, we need the brush of this image. So we're going to grab the brush of the image, and then we're going to grab conversion function, and we're going to get make brush from soft texture, and the texture we're going to grab is going to be the ammo icon, and then the width is going to be 32, and the height's going to be 32. You have to make sure you add these in, or it's going to be ginormous. But anyways, there we go. delete the background off it so it doesn't appear there. And then also delete this image. This now should look good when we layer it on top of this. So it's going to get layered, so it's going to appear right above it. I'm gonna actually bring it down a little bit. Just a little bit. All we have to do is grab the overlay. I'm going to move it down. It's not working. Don't want to make it too far down, otherwise it's going to intersect. All right, we'll compile it and save it. And then we'll go back into here. And then inside of our HUD controller, we're just going to add in the equipped item widget, which is our equipped item right here. And there we go. And now we should have this now in our game. Now, one last thing we're going to do is, I know I've probably said this is probably the last thing we're going to do probably like 16 times in this video, but just another thing we can do is hiding it when you're not holding a weapon that has ammo in it. So to do that, it's very simple. There's a boolean we can actually use. So we're just going to grab the overlay. We're going to put the widget overlay right into here. We're then going to grab the visibility of it. And then we're going to convert that into visibility boolean, and then our boolean we're going to take from is going to be magazine type weapon. So if this is true, it's going to be visible, and if it's false, it's going to be collapsed. We can now show and hide it's depending on if we're holding a magazine type weapon. I will just compile this, and then we'll just push our changes to a session, and we should now have an ammo HUD that works. You should now see now that nothing's on our screen yet, but if we pick up a weapon, you can now see we have our current weapon ammo. We also have, the ammo icon, our surplus ammo, and it all works. Now again, you can make it more accurate if you want, less accurate, depends on whatever you want to do. And so yeah, that's basically it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. This is basically how we would make an OG Fortnite HUD. So yeah, remember to like, subscribe, use my code in the Fortnite Item Shop. Thank you to everyone who's a member of the channel. And remember to watch all these videos for more of my tutorial content. That's about it. I'll see you all around.